Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, and tonight we have kind of a bonus wrestling episode for you. Normally on a Wednesday, we would do Pro Wrestling Weekly, but we've pushed that to tomorrow night because we've no Thursday Tier Talk. So Dazzler is going to be joining me tomorrow night for Pro Wrestling Weekly, where we're going to be talking about AEW, we're going to be talking about NXT, we're going to be talking about the Tuesday Night Wars that was, or maybe wasn't. We're going to be talking CM Punk. We're going to be talking Christian. We're going to be talking loads of stuff tomorrow night, plus your normal dose of history and notable birthdays. And just if Sean is out there listening tonight, or if he is, we don't have too much that tomorrow night for you, Sean, but we have some great notable birthdays and we have some interesting historical stuff that happened this week in pro wrestling history. As always, folks, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video, and of course, share the content, share it around, grow the community. So tonight we're going to be doing a little Fastlane review here, taking a look back at last weekend's pay-per-view. Certainly an interesting one. I don't know about you guys out there, but at the moment, but kind of the year started off absolutely brilliantly. All the pay-per-views were knocking it out of the park, all these premium live events, all the way up to, I suppose, Money in the Bank. And it started to peter off a little bit. Obviously, it's very hard to sustain that kind of wave that they were on and stuff like that. We know from all the reports coming out that the metrics are through the roof for WWE at the moment in all facets of the business. But maybe in the last couple of months, I suppose, with the takeover and the merger, maybe they've been just a little bit distracted. Now, I'm not saying that this was a bad one, but it just felt like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing. So it kind of just hit its note, but just at a certain level. So we'll go through the matches and give our thoughts and stuff like that and various other things. But before we begin, this guy we have to give props to. LJ Cleary. LJ Cleary, who has signed for Noah Wrestling. Over there, made his debut, I think, at the weekend, as far as I know. LJ has been coming into me in the shop since he was a kid. He was a huge John Cena fan. Loved pro wrestling. Came in long before he was old enough to be able to train. Always had his heart set on wrestling. Has absolutely worked his backside off to get to where he's got to. Character development, physically, the way he looks, everything he's worked on it so hard. So absolute congratulations from us at Wrestling Mania and the Upper Tier Podcast, of course, to LJ Cleary. We love to see our own doing so well, and it's absolutely brilliant. So many Irish wrestlers out there now flying the flag for Irish pro wrestling. It's amazing the talent that we produce for such a small country. People all around the world absolutely tearing it up, and congrats as well to Fight Factory Pro Wrestling, who were kind of the mentors for LJ for so many years and stuff like that. They must be so proud, Phil and Katie and all the gang there, to see him do it. And of course the work he's done in OTT wrestling as well. But absolutely brilliant. Still pops into me from time to time. We still talk about the old days and the John Cena stuff. He's still, the one thing I do like about him, and I give him props as well, is he's still a big fan of wrestling as well, which is really, really cool, because we see a lot of times, sometimes when these guys move into wrestling training and have they want to become professional wrestlers and stuff like that, they get a bit too critical of the business and they forget the reasons why they took that path on that road and that journey in the first place. But LJ is one of those guys who always knocks out of the park, comes into me. We talk about John Cena and all sorts of stuff every time he pops in. So congratulations to him. It's great to see he's finally getting the rewards for the hard work he's put in over, I don't know how many years he's at it now. He must be at least a minimum of 10, I would say. A minimum, but he's coming into me as a kid in the shop. So great to see it, and congratulations to him. Just thought I'd put that out there first before we start our review. Right, so let's get into our review of Fastlane. What did we think? How are you, my friend? Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you're good. And Daz is in the chat as well. What's the crack, Niall? What's the crack, Daz? How are you? Hope you enjoyed Fastlane. Let me know what you thought of it and stuff like that, the matches and everything else. So where do we begin? Pat McAfee. We have to talk about Pat McAfee, don't we? What an opening segment. And WWE, they're just so, I say it all the time, in terms of their presentation and the way they put it out there, those vignettes, those packages, all those things that get you pumped up into your seat. Absolutely can't wait with bated breath for these premium live events to start. And this was absolutely brilliant again. Love Pat McAfee on it and stuff like that. Everyone knows how much a fan we are of Pat McAfee. But it was absolutely brilliant, and yeah, hats off to him. It was a great opening segment to get Fastlane going. So then we started off, obviously, the opening match, Cody Rhodes and Jay Uso. An unlikely team, could I say. Defeated the Judgment Day to win the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. This was an interesting one. Solid match, I have to say. Really, really enjoyed it. This couldn't be a weirder combination, but I suppose with Cody bringing them across from SmackDown or bringing them back into the Raw brand, I suppose it kind of makes sense. I'm kind of wondering about it at the moment. I'm wondering, there's a lot of different layers to this and stuff, and to see the two of them, I don't know if you've seen them after. If you've seen them after the show when they did the media thing, the two boys had a couple of scoops, and they were talking a lot of guff and stuff like that. Daz says he couldn't watch it but seeing the highlights. Yeah, let us know. Even on the highlights, Daz, let us know. I mean, the highlights normally give you a good one. Eno's in. How are you, Eno? Hey, what's happening, Niall? All good. Richard E. Dangerfield. Richard E. Dangerfield. You never know what Eno's going to pop up with each week. But yeah, I thought the match was really, really good. But a couple of questions kind of come out of it. Kind of like, where do these two sit as a team? Was kind of strange. The fact that the Judgment Day dropped the belts and we've been led along the narrative of, all the gold, all the championships, all the belts from Finn Balor and stuff like that. So what does that mean now going forward now that they've dropped the tag belts and stuff like that? How did you feel about that? Were you expecting a title change? I wasn't too sure whether we were going to get a title change because I wasn't too sure which way this was going to go with these two working together. Is this leading to some sort of a turn? Was Jay, is Jay over on Raw? Is he a mole for the Bloodline? So many things, so many conspiracy theories. Who knows, Asus is in as well. How are you, Asus? If the start of Cody Rhodes road to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 in Philly for Undisputed Championship, it's the start of Cody Rhodes. You reckon? Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing about it is, what did we think about this as well? Because the expectation was that Jay coming over onto Raw, people obviously thought that Cody would be heading to SmackDown. But how does that work now with the belts? Or are they planning on separating the belts again? Are they going to have some sort of a way where maybe they've different tag partners or something for the blue and red brand? Who knows? It's a strange one all the same. But weird one. WWE now seem to be having these media scrums nowadays. Yeah, and I think, do you know something? They're really cool. I have to say, and I said it the other day on AEW as well, sometimes for AEW, I actually enjoy the media scrums more than I do the actual shows because they're just hilarious and stuff like that. So, yeah, I really like these media scrums. I like to get an insight into it and stuff that. This is kind of maybe they're following in this, the beginning to follow into the routine of the UFC and stuff like that. The UFC does a lot of these media scrums and post-fight interviews and all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of cool. It gives you an insight. But to see the two boys the other day rolled out, was on the Dazzler about it. He reckons they went off into Cody's his motorhome or whatever it is, and they had one too many scoops. Jay was off the Richter. So yeah, it was an interesting, but yeah, as I said, decent match, but just unusual in the way it kind of went. The 3D from Cody, the 3D into the Cody cutter, I thought was sick. What do you make of Cody's this when he springboards on the ropes? He does it with 1 foot. I don't know. For me, it's kind of it just feels a little bit weird, a little bit awkward, a little bit contrived, and a little bit slow. Let us know in the comments what you think about that. When Cody goes and hits the second rope and he tends to step onto it with just 1 foot, does it not look weird to you or awkward or something? Or does it not kind of take away from what he's trying to do? Just seems a little bit weird. Just a small thing. Love Tony Khan tweet about two ball bastards and Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Yeah, it's happening, isn't it? Shots fired back at AEW with something new with those scrums. Yeah, absolutely. Well, AEW, in fairness to them, I've been doing the scrums now for a while. So, but yeah, certainly very interesting to say the least. But let us know your thoughts on this one. Yeah, as I said, the presser was just hilarious. A bit of alcohol was consumed, that's for sure, you know. Let's move on to the next match. The next match was Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, and of course, the lovely Selena Vega coming out looking beautiful as always as part of the LWO against the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. We have a little slide for this one as well. And of course, out came Mr. Caribbean Cool himself, Carlito, which we kind of felt was going to happen. We kind of thought that he was going to be the guy. What was your thinking on this match? This to me came across as kind of felt like a typical SmackDown standard match. I felt the men really need to greatly up their game. I'm a big fan of the Street Profits. I'm not sure whether this Hurt Business 3.0, whatever it is. I don't know about Bobby Lashley. I'm just not too sure. What do people think in the chat about Bobby Lashley at the moment? Is his heart really still in it? Because they've tried so much stuff with him at the moment and nothing seems to stick. I look at his wrestling, like he's an unbelievable athlete when you look at him and stuff like that. But his wrestling just still seems. And I mean, I met Bobby Lashley 20 years ago, nearly 20 years ago. At WrestleMania 22, I met Bobby Lashley with Mickey James. So that's how long he's there. I know he took a bit of a hiatus for a while and went into MMA and Bellator and stuff like that and all. But like, what do you make of Bobby Lashley? Like, he just still feels so awkward and kind of, in his transitions. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he has big, powerful moves and all that kind of stuff. But the path from move to move, the transitions always seems just a little bit disjointed or not there. But let me know your thoughts, Bobby Lashley and stuff like that. Before the press conference began, they were told not to ask any questions about CM Punk. Yeah, I read that actually. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what that means. We are going to be talking about Punk tomorrow night, but self and Darren had a long old chat about CM Punk this morning on the way into work on the phone. His view is that he thinks he's nailed on to come back. My view is that I don't think they're interested in him. So let us know your thoughts, but we'll be debating it tomorrow night and having a chat about it, the pros and cons, and information in relation to CM Punk is literally evolving on a day-by-day basis. So tomorrow could be a totally different story, as we know, with all the information that released this week. So should be interesting. Bobby actually speaks. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, like he can't, like he just, he should be a killer like Batista or Brock Lesnar or whatever it is. And, I can't take to him on the mic. His wrestling just kind of skew-ways me as a bit disjointed. And they just still can't find a way for this guy who should be he should be a megastar. You know what I mean? In WWE, for the length of time he's been in there and what he's achieved and his legacy and all, he should be an absolute megastar. He should be like, not necessarily saying Rock or Austin levels, but not far off it when you think about it. But just, you still find him that he's that opener or mid-card guy. It's just so weird with him and stuff like that. But yeah, he just struggles. He struggles to get my interest. I was disappointed that Carlito didn't have his old music, I have to say. But I thought his inclusion in the match really saved it. I thought that was the added thing that was in there that kind of helped it and saved it. It was interesting that Lashley and the Profits lost. This was their first high-profile match, and they lost it. Dare I say, they hurt business in more ways than one. Again, let us know if you had thoughts on this match and stuff like that. But I just feel it's like, and I'm a huge Street Profits fan, and I hope the Street Profits don't get tore down in the mix of this and stuff like that. We've already seen it with Hurt Business 1.0. So let's see what happens there. Ace is saying Vince McMahon doesn't want CM Punk and company. Loads of videos on YouTube today. Yeah, I don't think. My guess is it's probably not going to be his sole decision. I would think. I think there's a lot of talk coming out at the moment from a creative point of view and stuff like that. That Triple H is the man now, and Vince has little or no impact on that. So I think if it suited H to bring him back, he might probably bring him back. But I'm not too sure. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. The LWO should be a heel faction. It probably should, yeah, absolutely. And maybe that's what skews it as well. Morris is saying, welcome back, Niall. Cheers, Morris. Appreciate that. Were you missing me for all of that one day? But like I said, folks, don't forget tomorrow night, Pro Wrestling Weekly. We're going to knock it out of the park. We've loads of great stuff to talk about, loads of great history to go through, and some brilliant notable birthdays as well. And not too much death, dare I say. Last week was really tough. It was the morgue, without a doubt. LWO, if they had a trios tag tournament, they would win. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. You see, when you look at the LWO, the thing about the LWO is there's no lack of talent in there. The issue is you're looking at what the Bloodline has done, and the Bloodline has really raised the bar in WWE in terms of factions. And then sliding in behind that as well, then you have the Judgment Day, who really raised the bar as well. So the LWO, although it has great history and all that kind of stuff, this version of the LWO seems a little bit contrived and thrown together. So it's hard to kind of get into it and see what happens. Acers, LWO will be breaking up soon. Yeah, you would expect that as well. I mean, that was the talk all along, wasn't it? Anyway, don't believe any shite Sean Ross Sapp puts out, Acers. You were the Undertaker last week. I was the Undertaker last week, that's for sure. But this week I think there's only two, of which one is quite close to home, so it's worth mentioning. I thought, just as a marker, So that's all right, Morris and Acers. Sean Ross is a complete sap, anyways. There you go. Nice. Right, let's move into the next one. The next one, what had we got? We had Io Sky, the champion, defeated Charlotte Flair and Asuka. WWE Women's Championship. Triple threat it was. This felt very like the SummerSlam match. This was kind of like a rollback. So there wasn't a huge amount in it. I like when Io is up against Asuka. Charlotte in there was just kind of bolted on kind of awkwardness, if you like. Asuka's technical, like Asuka as a technical wrestler, she's absolutely fantastic. And then that marred with Io's high flying gives you a great mix to have a match in terms of chemistry and stuff like that, because you get a little bit of everything. And then Charlotte, of course, the use of the mist early out the door straight away, Charlotte taken out of the match on the floor. Sold it like a trooper, as you would expect, being a Flair. But then came back into the match, and you know how I feel about these triple threat matches. They're always kind of weird. They're basically really just a singles match with a third cog playing possum most of the time, And I always find it very difficult when you have the three in there, and this is men or women, when you have the three in there and you're trying to get something going, and it's just a little bit awkward, and they're all trying to lock up and do whatever they do and stuff like that, So, yeah, just this match, I thought, I don't know. I mean, some people were kind of thinking Charlotte might pick up another championship. I'm a fan of Charlotte Flair, but I was hoping not. I want to see EO sort of progress through this and stuff like that and come out the other side way more valuable from it, if you like, The use of the mist, like as I said early on, worked well because it took Charlotte out of the match, and it only left the two girls then to go at it, which was kind of good. There was some good stuff in there and all. I think in the end, the correct result prevailed. I don't like when these championships are just changing really, really quick. I like them to bed in so they can bring us on a journey and get us emotionally involved and stuff like that. So, yeah, absolutely. Morris is in. Balor released. Acers, Taylor Swift v. Sky at WrestleMania 40. Taylor Swift v. Sky. You really hate the three ways. Not all of them, just the wrestling ones. Yeah, only the wrestling ones. The other ones are okay. But only the wrestling ones. Yeah, I don't like them. I don't. Can you remember? Tell me the last time there was a good one. I suppose that the one that comes to mind that we'd remember would be WrestleMania 20. That one comes to mind as being a kind of a decent one. But other than that, most of the triple threats. Tell me the last time a good triple threat came through that you really, really liked, Damage Control will be breaking up soon after Survivor Series. Interesting. I seen Triple H's comments as well on Bailey and stuff like that. He was bigging her up there yesterday, I think it was. Morris, bringing back some of those girls to our plasma screens at GP Production. Yeah. You have to wait for Morris to do that. They're everywhere. WrestleMania 20, yup, yeah, absolutely. That triple threat was amazing, and the end of it was amazing, of course, as well. Of course, we will be talking about one Eddie Guerrero tomorrow night. He did celebrate his birthday this week, or his birthday was this week. So he celebrated it, but we celebrated it, I should say. But yeah, we'll have a little chat about Eddie Guerrero tomorrow night as well. And I did a show with him back in the day on the Four Pod Men about Eddie Guerrero, remembering Eddie Guerrero. It's up there on the channel now if you want to take a look at it. It's an oldie from the vault, so well worth a watch. You'll never walk alone. 66. Hi, mate. You're gonna watch KSI versus Tommy Fury? Yeah, I will. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of them I watch just for the fun at this stage. But I think what you're thinking on, I think Tommy will probably have too much from. I'm not too sure though, but it should be interesting. But it could end up in a mess. Could end up in a mess. But we'll see. We'll try and enjoy it, as they say. But yeah, definitely worth a watch. That's for sure. Wanted to mention these two. I thought it was great to see Carlito back. But I thought this was a real cool picture because if you remember when Carlito came in, when he debuted, he took the US belt off Cena, which shocked the world, I have to say. But I thought this was really, really cool. And that's off to Carlito. He's in great nick. Look at the shape he's in at the moment and stuff like that and all. And the word on the street is that he's back and he's back full time now. So that gives a real great dimension in there. But I thought this was a real cool kind of moment and picture throwback type of thing with these two guys. So pretty cool, I have to say. Really, really enjoyed that. Morris, Eddie done a famous three-way in the GTV days with two women in the show. Wasn't happy. Carlito in great shape. Wasn't long ago he was over here. Yeah, absolutely. I have a signed pic. They sent me in a signed pic of him as well and stuff like that. Yeah, so I was a big fan of Carlito. I thought that was really. I remember when he was tagging with Chris Masters as well. I thought they did some hilarious stuff. KSI is a lot quicker than Tommy, in my opinion. So I think KSI does stand a chance. He definitely stands a chance. I mean, anyone going in stands a chance. Anyone can get clipped. But I think Tommy, in the way he's more traditional in terms of feeling you out and stuff like that and all, I think he'll figure him out and stuff like that, and he could eventually wear them down. KSI is kind of more of an explosive kind of unorthodox bombarder kind of boxer. I think Tommy is more orthodox and stuff like that. So be interesting to see. It's an interesting matchup. And certainly when you look at boxing and where it is at the moment, a lot of this kind of stuff they're doing at the moment, the YouTuber or those influencer boxing fights and stuff like that seem to be garnering more interest and stuff like that. They are really interesting. And we can see that KSI, we know Boyami he puts in the work, so it'll definitely be interesting. But yeah, you're dead right. Acer's Carlito didn't knife Cena in the picture. No, he didn't. No, it was cool. It was cool. But yeah, all those years ago, remember that US title? He came in. Remember when they were originally plugging him to come in and they were doing all the different vignettes and stuff like that? Remember, wasn't there one he did with the kid at the swimming pool and stuff like that? And all it was really cool. It will probably be really, really good fight because they don't defend. They fight with their hands down. Yeah. Interesting. And that's what I'm saying. Like, could be an early night. Someone could get clipped. And that's sometimes what happens. I always find it weird as well when I see boxers fighting with their hands down. And it's weird that I find it weird as well because, I was a big fan of Nazim. Nazim, what's his name? Hamid, was it? Back in the day, he was unbelievable. Remember, and he used to fight. His two hands used to be down at his waist on his side for most of the fight, and just exploded into stuff. Any John Moxley updates looking dodgy? I haven't heard a thing. No idea. I know obviously he was taken out of the match at the weekend and stuff like that. And hats off, Orange Cassidy. I think picked up the international title again. Yeah, don't know. No idea. Are you going to talk about a certain ex-WWE wrestler tomorrow? Niall, gone to AEW. I certainly am going to be talking about Edge. There's no doubt about it. We'll talk as part of, Adam Copeland, I should say, I'll be talking about. And also we'll be talking about Christian as well. I think the one thing that has me watching AEW at the moment is Christian. I just think he's absolutely electric at the moment. electric. We're also going to be talking about the artist or the wrestler formerly known as Brian Pillman Jr. And we're going to be talking about him as well. I mean, there was the video that they put out was a hit. A hit. There was emotion. Morris is in. The ratings killer, Adam Copeland. Absolutely. And I really, I kind of, I really enjoyed last night the way they both went up against each other. And I thought, look, you have Adam Copeland going in there against Luchasaurus, kind of obviously setting the role to Christian and all that kind of thing, but getting absolutely buried by NXT, rolling out the big guns. It was absolutely crazy. Mams Taylor, KSI manager, said there's something different at the press conference tomorrow. Interesting. We shall see. We shall see. That should be interesting. You're certainly going to get a huge amount of smack talk anyway, that's for sure. Morris, he was meant to wrestle last night. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Mox. Great promo by Pillman Jr. Yeah, it was, wasn't it, Morris? It was fairly emotional, this stepping out, and it's so, isn't it such a dynamic as well, isn't it? Like, you've got Cody Rhodes in there who pushes the dad narrative all the time, constantly pushes it. And then you've Brian Pillman Jr. in there going, not for me. I left that guy a long time ago, so it was an interesting dynamic. Christian promo about Beth last night was funny. Yeah, it was really, really funny. And we'll be talking about it tomorrow night. We've lots to talk about tomorrow night. It's going to be a fun show tomorrow night. Christian at the moment, that just unreal. Even the matchup with the two of them there at the weekend or whatever it was, and the way he told Edge to go F himself and all, that was class. Jordy's in. How are you, my friend? How are you? Plenty of wrestling content, of course, because the football is on a hiatus at the moment. I don't really have a card in the game when it comes to international football, especially at the moment where we're at, so Ireland. So you're gonna do a watch along for KSI versus Tommy? No, I don't do watch alongs, because you know what it is. I'll do reactions and all and give my thoughts and all that. I think I did it for the last. I did it for Jake and Tommy when they fought and a few others. So, but when I'm watching my sport, I like to watch my sport because it takes me to a different dimension, if you like. And I just find I find watch alongs kind of just a tad bit strange. I find it weird that people would like to watch people who watch sports. Just a thought, and I know a lot of the channels do grade out of them and stuff like that. Morris, stop. I think he wants and they want to be distant. Fair enough too. He's his own person. Yeah, absolutely. Do a watch along for Ireland and Gibraltar. Oh, good Lord. Can you imagine? I do want Morris, if you agree to do it with me. That's the only way, because it'll take the two of us to get through it. Looking forward to seeing Christian versus Edge at Full Gear for TNT Championship. Yeah, I think, look, all roads lead to Christian, don't they? And it's always going to be the case. It's interesting when you see Edge talking in the scrum and stuff like that, or the media thing, talking about, like, how he wants to work with all these guys, Swerve and all that and stuff. And we know it's like the pathway is to Christian. The career-ending pathway is to Christian, isn't it? Yeah, sure, mate. I also follow a little bit of WWE. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, we're all in on the pro wrestling here. It's normally every Wednesday we do pro wrestling weekly, but tonight this week we'll be doing a few shows because there's no real football to follow. So you'll get plenty of it this week. Do you see Dylan Dennis workout at the media workout today? I did, yeah. I seen him all right, yeah. And there was talk, wasn't it, that Logan didn't show up. Sure, he didn't. They haven't still had their stare down or their face to face yet and stuff. I seen him talking about it in his interview and stuff like that and all. That's a very strange one. Maybe not. Morris says, yeah, absolutely. Eno's in. Hey, OTT. You remember a few years ago, Joe, did my ticket get lost in the mail? Oh God, we were only talking today, Ian. Hey, so looking forward to seeing Steve Kenny managing Ireland in Euro 2028 in the Aviva. That ain't gonna happen. Let's be honest here. You're trying to probe Morris there now. You're trying to probe Morris. Let's get into the next one. John Cena and LA Knight versus defeated the Bloodline. The match was kind of interesting, wasn't it? Because it showcased. You would have thought really it would have went the other way, but they were very clever in the way they booked the match. You would have thought it would have been LA Knight in taking the brunt of it, and Cena coming in for the hot tag. But it's great the way they reverse it because obviously they're trying to push LA Knight in. We've spoken about how maybe the company is kind of testing the water with them. They did it with the Miz. Now they're doing it with John Cena. It's like you're going through these different levels of stages to get company approval before they actually push the button on it and stuff like that. But Cena, he was quite resilient and stuff like that, and he did speak about it after and stuff like that. How he's he's really testing the water himself at the moment to see can he really deliver what he still needs to deliver, and has he got a way of working back to that and stuff like that. So it was interesting to hear him say that the hot tag for LA Knight was absolutely cruel. And I love the way he went in when he was doing the stuff and all. It was excellent to see, and they popped like hell for it. Interesting with Roman appearing on SmackDown on Friday. We got Paul Heyman moonlighting all around the place, getting permission from the tribal chief. But it'll be interesting to see how this all translates in when the dust kind of settles and stuff like that, LA getting the hot tag, I should say. It was just a simple match, really, and stuff like that, wasn't it? Not put together really when you think about it, but it was kind of cool. But it was nice to see that Cena was in there taking the brunt of it, and that LA Knight then got the hot tag for the finish and stuff like that. And I thought it was really, really cool. Where are we now? Let's see. There we go. It's a bit worried that Dylan didn't do any pad work today or shadow boxing. Let's see, his background is as you know is jiu-jitsu. And there has been, I think, do I remember back in the day where he did something and there was issues with his hands and stuff like that. And maybe he's going with a situation maybe where he doesn't want to give too much away and stuff like that. He's renowned for his jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. He's not necessarily renowned for his stand-up or his punching. So maybe he didn't want to give too much away, I'd say. Maybe that's what it was. But no doubt he's doing the work in the background. There's a lot of needle to this one. This one has had a kind of a dirty, shady build-up and stuff like that, Wales 4, Gibraltar 0. Kenny is done. He never started, yeah. Absolutely. Daz, we don't know Danielson, maybe TNT champion, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't be too upset to see Edge versus Bryan Danielson. That'd be pretty cool. Hope LA Knight isn't the next Dolph Ziggler. I don't think he will be, Morris. I think they're kind of hot on him as well and stuff like that. Again, you know yourself, sometimes that momentum can just cut off very quickly and it just all falls away and stuff like that. But they seem hot on him. The crowd are reacting brilliant to him. Even the simple things they're out of their seat for and stuff like that and all. He's absolutely flooding the merch out the door as well and all. So they're all good signs. And he looks like he's able to stay relatively fit and stuff like that. So I think you've got a big year coming up for LA Knight, I think. Bohemians versus St. Pat's of Eva. Bloodbath supporters advised to bring riot gear. Bohemians versus Pats. Graham will probably be going to that, I'd imagine. Graham's a big Pat supporter. Bring Nick Gage to face Dominic to shut this kid up. Prison yard rules. Yeah, that was kind of this was probably the most disappointing part of the pay-per-view, wasn't it? When the cash in wasn't going to happen. It was the news we didn't want to hear, because obviously with the boys dropping the belts early on, right out of the gate in the pay-per-view, you know what I mean? The thinking was it's senior money in the bank going to cash in potentially on Rollins. But that all got put away and stuff like that. There's lots of conspiracy theories out there about the case and JD McDonough and all this kind of stuff, so it'll be interesting. But that was our kind of our heart sinking moment, wasn't it? We were kind of thinking, might cash in now. They're after dropping the tag belts, and then Rhea goes and ruins it for us. Not often she does it, but she went and ruined it for us. Morris, he isn't. Are people still thinking Vince is 100% gone? I'd say he's 0.1% still there. I don't know. I just when I look at the product at the moment, and even how it's kind of evolving through the post merger and stuff like that, you know when you can feel that Triple H influence on it and stuff like that. Now listen, that's not to say that he's gone forever. You know, it just means that he's not being allowed. And I mean, if you're Endeavor or TKO, you know, you're looking at the situation there. All the metrics are up. All the metrics are good. You know, the buy rates, the ratings, merch, product, the fan base, everything's humming at the moment, you know. So it's hard. Why would you change it, you know? Why would you change it or let that come in on it? To be honest, he needs the money, JJ, Logan, and Tommy don't. Yeah, that's true. Um, very true. I've lost a lot of respect for Logan Paul because he scammed his fans and the Japan Forest thing. Yeah, I think that that has damaged the brand, if you like, and stuff like that. But listen, because everyone puts on a performance, you know, that sometimes swings it back around again and stuff like that. Listen, you can lose respect for the guy just for people being charged 10 quid for a bottle of Prime. Don't even get me going on that. Ian's in. LA Knight is just over big time. How about that jumping elbow? Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And even when he was doing, you know, the dusty punches were kind of cool as well. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Morris, that's a fail cash in for sure. Yeah, the talk is, Morris. Have you heard the latest conspiracy going around? Is that when they swapped out the briefcases, they didn't put the contract into the case. So one of the stories going around at the moment is when he goes to cash in, the ref's going to open the case and there's no contract in it. That's the talk going around. So that will be mad. Make sure Graham brings neck brace for support. I'd say Endeavor had a big part in last night's show. Yeah, absolutely. Look, we know how they go. Like when they bought the UFC, they went out and they obliterated the competition. And there's no doubt that they'll try and do the same thing. So listen, when you get to that level and you're dealing with that level of wealth and that level of business and all that kind of stuff, you just trot on people, you bulldoze over people so handy. Look at what they did. Yeah, look what they did last night. Really, they blew it away. It's going to be interesting to see when the ratings come out, what it's like and stuff like that. But Darren was talking about this morning, and actually, he made a really good valid point when we were on the way into work. He turned around and he said, "The WWE maybe push it too far, and you know, I think it's probably a valid point. But yeah, interesting. Oops, if we get Andre in January, yeah, that would be cool. Really like to see that boy come in. Be really, really interesting. I think we definitely need to do something, don't we? There's certainly a little bit of imbalancing there at the moment that we've seen in the last two games, especially in the last game as well. That was seeing my reaction to it. 2 points drop there, really, you know, shouldn't be doing that. Ticket sales are up because they're bending over people. Yeah, and that's mad, isn't it? To think about it, like they're actually charging so much more, and yet people are falling over themselves. Seven watching, only 4 likes. Come on, lads! Yeah, absolutely. Smash up the likes and the subscribe button, folks. If you haven't, give it all the support that you can. He's still about. He's always still about in. Mate, if KSI wins and Jake Paul jumps in the ring, it's gonna go off. Yeah, and that's likelihood what could happen if KSI was to get the win. It's look, this ain't much different than pro wrestling, in fairness, isn't it? Because they just lay out storylines for the next event and the next event, next event. The one thing I would say about them is they're churning the events out and they're churning the fights out and stuff like that. So it's not like when you look at when you look at Fury and hit the stranglehold there in the heavyweight division and stuff like that, and lads kind of defending belts once a year, if even, you know what I mean? It's so frustrating how political boxing has got at that level of the titles and stuff like that. To nail down a title fight now, like you're nearly handing over your family. It's crazy, crazy. Who's the ex WWE commentator on AEW? Well, sure, you could argue that there's a few of them in there. You've JR is in there, isn't he? Nigel McGuinness. Nigel McGuinness is in there now as well, isn't he? JR, Nigel McGuinness, Tony Schiavone, Taz. A bunch of them in there at the moment. The ref has never opened the case. Yeah, but this is the thing about it, isn't it? Love to see Jericho do one more run in WWE before it's too late. LA Knight versus Jericho would be great, yeah, absolutely. Do you think it will happen, Morris? Do you think we'll get one more run out of him? We probably will, but we might get it a bit too late. But I think we will get. I think he has to go back there to finish the story, doesn't he? I think all roads lead to there eventually. I believe more cuts to be expected. I haven't heard much more on cuts and stuff like that. I haven't heard where they're at in the process. There hasn't really been an update on that 100 million they want to save in the cost base. So I'm not too sure. Maybe they've hit it. But from what we've heard and what's being reported, I'm not too sure they've hit it yet. So could be the case. Justin Roberts, that's the one. Yeah, the announcer. Sorry, yeah. Justin Roberts, yeah. He's very good as well, in fairness. And then just remember the time he was the one, wasn't he, Morris, that Daniel Bryan, didn't Daniel Bryan choke him out? Remember when he was in the Nexus? I think he choked him out, didn't he? And he spat on him as well, and then he got fired. Yeah, Daniel, there you go. There you go. We choked him out with the toe. Yeah, there you go. Didn't even read the comment before. So I really hope we get a Misfits boxing event in Liverpool because Manchester have got one, Newcastle and London. Yeah, absolutely. Hashtag Jericho Mega. There you go. Yeah, he will. He will. Hall of Fame Jericho. Yeah, absolutely. I know he's there, Morris, but there's a commentator there, Tony. I mean Morris. Tony Schiavone, is it? You're talking about the guy with the beard and the glasses. He was WCW originally. He was NWA and Jim Crockett originally. Actually, when I first watched him, but he's yeah, Tony Schiavone. You're probably talking about WCW. Don't think he did. Did he commentate at all ever in WWE? I don't think so. Only WCW. CM Punk could always go to Impact Wrestling. It's definitely. I don't know, folks. What do you think about that in the chat? CM Punk going to Impact Wrestling. I know Impact Wrestling are doing a show and tapings in Chicago in about 10 days or 11 days or whatever it is. So I don't know. Look, this will probably come down to. It depends on what CM Punk wants to do, I suppose. But it probably comes down to money, doesn't it? Are Impact going to have the money to bring in CM Punk? I'm not too sure. Yeah, you're right, Morris. I don't think he had a run in WWE. Yeah, I think it was only WCW, and then he kind of went from there. M&S Bank Arena would be perfect. Basically the same size as the OVO Wembley Arena, if not bigger. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Liverpool, look, it's absolutely be class. They did the M&S Bank Arena. Is that where they did? Let me know. You'll never walk alone. Is that where they did the UFC that time with Paddy Pimblett and Molly? Wasn't that the M&S? Was that the M&S Bank Arena? I think is that where they did that UFC? Yeah, yes, him, Niall. Yeah, he was WCW. He was always NWA and WCW, Jim Crockett Promotions. Then took a bit of a hiatus. Actually, as much as a lot of wrestling fans hate him, he was the one member, if you remember that, he spoiled Foley's title win live on air on Nitro. That's what he's kind of most renowned for. But I got to meet him. I got to meet him at a WrestleCon with Eric Bischoff and stuff like that. It was nice actually talking about some of the old stuff and things like that. And he seemed a kind of a gentleman and stuff like that. But I know wrestling fans find it very hard to take him because they can't forgive him over spoiling Foley's title win, you know. Tony was on in WWF in 89 and 90. Oh, wasn't you? Interesting. Thanks for that, Acers. There you go. There you go. So we go to the main event of the night. Seth Rollins, the champion, defeated Shinsuke Nakamura for the World Heavyweight Championship. Last man standing match. Let me know your thoughts on this one, folks, as I go through a few comments. I think about 5 years. I don't think Paddy fought there or Molly. Okay. Was that the one with Darren Till on it then? The Darren Till fight there. Maybe I'm getting confused. Maybe it was Darren Till. Tony Schiavone last WWF appearance was WWF Royal Rumble 1990. Interesting. And because you said that, Ace, I'm going to go back and go and take a look tomorrow. Interesting you said that now. Refresh my own memory on it. I never realized. Yeah, you're thinking it was Darren Till, wasn't it? That's who I'm thinking. Yeah. Yeah, actually, Paddy and Molly fought in London, didn't they? And they turned around, and the big thing that came out with, they both got big wins out and stuff like that. It was brilliant on the night and stuff like that. And the thing that came out of was both of them asked they wanted to have an event up in Liverpool. So yeah, spot on. You'll never walk alone. Yeah, absolutely. What did we make of this one? In the build up to this, I have to say, I never gave Shinsuke Nakamura a chance of winning this belt. I have to say. But then when I watched the match, they kind of turned me around. At times in the match, I felt that maybe they might pull the trigger and put the belt on Shinsuke. But of course, Rollins running out the winner. I thought the match started at a very slow pace, which can often happen in a last man standing match. But it did get a momentum, and it was a solid main event. The boys do have chemistry. I just felt the finish was a tad bit underwhelming in terms of a last man standing match. The Falcon Arrow as a finish was interesting. But my kind of overall conclusion there was I kind of went back to where I was thinking originally. I don't think anyone's taking the belt off Seth Rollins anytime soon. I think with the belt being in there, they're trying to develop, a kind of a historical legacy to it, make it kind of, because it's kind of newish, they're going to make it more meaningful and stuff like that. And I think even if the belt was to land on Shinsuke, I think it would be fairly short-lived, I would think. By the way, mate, I don't know if you know, but the Liverpool Christmas market starts the 23rd of November. Where does that be based? Is that based down off when you come around down off Liverpool 1 down towards that area what's down there? Where you normally get the football stands and stuff down there during the day on match days and stuff like that? Down towards what's down there? The big JD is down there, is it? Is that normally where the market is or whereabouts? Let me know where it's based. Be interesting. I'd love it. Might take a trip over with the missus. Actually, she loves Christmas markets, so we could go over and spend a day or two over in Liverpool. It'd be pretty cool. I'll have a current WWE announcer on the show next month, hopefully. Absolutely, Morris. I know who it is, but I'm not giving that away. But yeah, absolutely, that would be brilliant. Ian's in. Brian Pillman not using his real name in WWE. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad move. I think it's one of those where it's a tough one for WWE as well, isn't it? It's a real tough one because his passing, the company handled it. It was an absolute shit show. We spoke about it last week. Remember, I'm part of the history, what happened in that situation and stuff and all, with the wife coming on and everything and all. It was handled really, really badly. And I'm sure he looks at that as well. And look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to go out there and create your own history and step out of the shadow and stuff like that, so not too bad. Acers, always remember during Rumble match when Hogan and Warrior was alone in the ring together and Tony Schiavone and Jesse. What a moment. The roof is coming off this place. Absolutely. St. George's Hall, mate, it will be at. Okay, brilliant. Excellent. Yeah, that's one. I might stick that in the diary, try and convince the missus to go over for a couple of days. There's a lovely market in Belfast too, Niall. Yeah, they always do a good one up there. You're right, Morris. Where am I? Pillman's got a gun 2.0. Yeah, absolutely. Jesus. Who are you having, Morris? He can't tell you yet, but it's decent. It's decent and it's well worth watching out for. But you should check out, if you're into wrestling content, check out Morris's page. It's absolutely brilliant. He has some of the old boys on there and stuff like that. And some of the chat and some of their angles in which they come from when they look at stuff now at the moment, stuff like that. It's not quite Jim Cornette, but it's really interesting. Mario and the boys when they're on talking, and Randy Hogan and stuff when they're on talking about stuff that they see now and stuff like that. And also some throwback stories is always really brilliant. So check out Morris's stuff. It's brilliant. Sub to it as well. I only hope that they don't bury him with his new ring name. They won't. They're bringing him in. Look, when you think about it these days, it's kind of changed a lot now, isn't it? When you look at WWE and the way it's evolved, under kind of Triple H and stuff like that and Nick Khan, it's changed a lot. You don't see a lot of burials anymore because truly when you look back on it and stuff like that, people getting buried and people not working out and stuff like that, it's kind of an indictment on the company more so than the person. Because now they have everything available to them. They have the performance center. They've absolutely everything. Character development, the best of everything. So there's no reason to go in there and fail. So I don't think that way of burying people and all, I don't think that would be the case. And listen, it doesn't matter what he comes out and what he's called. Everyone knows he's Brian Pillman Jr. So regardless of what he's called and stuff like that, I mean, look at Braun Breaker. Everyone knows Braun Breaker is Rick Steiner's son, but they want him and they'll take him. we're going to be talking about that as well, of course. The badass, that was pretty cool last night. I really enjoyed that. Darren Till and KSI are starting to go back and forth so they could fight in the future. But I want KSI to win against Tommy. But if he fights Darren Till, I would want Darren Till to win. Yeah, absolutely. He's an interesting guy. He's a complex guy, isn't he? He's his background and his history and all that kind of stuff, and his own fight against his own demons and all that kind of stuff and all. He's also a kind of I'd say if you're in Darren's inner circle and stuff like that and you're friends with him, I'd say he's very likable and all to be around. I'd say he's quite endearing and stuff like that. But I'd say it's hard work to get into Darren's inner circle, I'd say. I'd say he's quite selective and keeps it quite tight, I'd say. I have to get through the WWE red tape first, as the usual. Yeah, sell your soul, Morris, to the devil. That's it. Not a bad move. It sucks. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. He won't be buried. Not with a promo like that. No, absolutely. Although Morris, we seen a man that we're fans of, Finn Balor, put out an unbelievable vignette there a few months ago, and we thought that they might pull the trigger, and they didn't. And 7 years in the making and all that. What a promo and vignette that was. What a pistol. And Brooks Jensen is Bull Buchanan's son. Lovely lad, Bull. but he has terrible white foot. It's mad, isn't it, this day and age? Morris is joining Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club. Listen, whatever gets you the interview. I don't think it'll be that far, but whatever gets it. Overall, folks, what did you make of Fastlane? What did you think about it? Was it just... They're normally, for me, they're these kind of filler shows and stuff like that. But obviously, as I said to you, up till, say, Money in the Bank, they'd been knocking it out of the park. Backlash was unbelievable from Puerto Rico and all. So they've been really doing a good job on stuff like that. I think the last two have probably just come down a little bit, dampened down and tamed it down slightly. Still solid throughout. Nothing really terrible in it, but nothing absolutely electrifying in it. As I said, Carlito coming back was kind of cool. Still would have loved the old music, stuff like that. The push on LA Knight continues. We'll talk about him tomorrow night as well when we're doing the NXT stuff and all that kind of stuff as well. Also, Jake Paul said yesterday that he has a fight announcement on its way. Maybe KSI fighter, most likely retired UFC 50-year-old men. Listen, he's making those guys really, really wealthy. I don't think Anderson Silva or Ben Askren or what's Tyrone Woodley, I don't think any of those guys are complaining about fighting Jake Paul. Those guys have all been handsomely remunerated for their efforts. He wouldn't have to ring me twice to jump in there with the money that he's like. They're making unbelievable money off this. This is life-changing money that these guys are being paid. Look at even the money that was involved. Look at how Tommy reacted to the money with Jake Paul and stuff like that. And even the dad, John Fury, talking about it. Going, the money is just ridiculous, Ace or Shane McMahon's son was in the front row of Fastlane. Yeah, I seen that actually. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Did you see the Becky and promo? Awesome. Fight Factory in it. I did. It was unbelievable. I mentioned it at the top of the show because I mentioned that LJ debuted for Noah as well. And we were talking about how unbelievable the Irish are. But I thought that promo was awesome with the Fight Factory stuff and all. It was really cool. And I was saying that Katie and Phil, they should be so proud to see that stuff there. And they fought for years to keep those gyms alive and stuff like that, pumping their own money into it at times when it was really bad. So yeah, really, really cool, and hats off. And love to see people that happening for them and stuff. Brilliant stuff. You mean Fergal Devitt? Yeah, absolutely. After admire the YouTube lads making dollars. Yeah, absolutely. And not only generating them as well, generating the interest in it and stuff like that has been massive. Triple H on SmackDown to announce either Crown Jewel main event or War Games at Survivor Series. Hopefully it's War Games at Survivor Series, because do we really care that much about Crown Jewel? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see on Friday. 9 out of 10, I'd say, Niall. Yeah, you give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, it was decent. Yeah, it was decent enough. Johnny Fury said he wants to fight on Misfits soon. Go and call him out, lad. Can you imagine? Imagine John Fury in the ring. Oh my God. Be crazy and stuff like that. I did enjoy that the documentary, the docu series, the Furies and all. It was pretty cool. Not too sure whether that lad sleeps in a caravan in a field. I think that was mainly for the documentary. I'm sure that guy has a nice little house. And I have to say, dealing with Tyson, God, man, that must be tough. The way he just cancelled stuff at the last minute and stuff like that. And all, God help the wife; she was going through the mill about it. Sammy D, Fabio, Limo, all doing good things in Ireland too. Yeah, absolutely. And the world is these guys oysters now and stuff like that. And these are all guys. Even Sammy D. Remember Sammy wrestling as a kid with his mum dropping him to the gym for training and stuff like that. Great kid. His mum supported him 100%. She's a mad wrestling fan as well. She used to give out to the lads for chopping them and clotheslining them in the ring and all. We had some fun times in that gym in Bray and stuff like that. Some cold, freezing cold nights where the lads put on some great shows and stuff like that. And it's those times that you remember and that you cut your teeth on and stuff like that. And you see Sammy now and how good he is. Sammy drops into me a number of times in the month as well. Say hello and stuff like that, or drop in stuff for Jamie and all. And great guy. We talked like it was yesterday. We were in Bray and stuff like that and all. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, hats off to Sammy. Wish them all well. Any of those guys doing, I wish them all well. And DM Misfits, yeah, imagine, yeah. Good Lord. John Fury said that he wanted to fight Mike Tyson. John Fury should stop talking like that, because I've seen Mike Tyson, this build up to this Francis Ngannou thing. I've seen Mike Tyson, and you guys have all seen Mike Tyson at the moment moving and hitting pads at the moment. That guy is a murderer. John Fury doesn't want any part of that. The only thing that's changed in Mike Tyson over the years is the color of the beard, the color of the stubble. That guy is still a killer. He can put you away. The way he moves and stuff like that is just crazy still for that age. Florida 2023 4 stars. Oh, Fastlane, I should say 2023 4 stars. Yeah, good shout in. Yeah, it was enjoyable, I have to say. Isn't Tyson Fury fighting soon? Yeah, he's fighting Francis Ngannou at the end of the month, isn't it? It's Halloween weekend, I think, isn't it? Or something like that, or just before it. Mate, I don't know if you know the YouTuber, Liverpool supporter, James Redmond. I do. I had the pleasure of meeting James a number of times actually over there. He's a gas fella, isn't he? I don't do what's it? I don't do maybes. I just do absolutes. Remember that when he was talking about Mane and stuff like that? I used to be over there quite a bit, mate, and all. There's a couple of videos out there with the Redmen TV and stuff where we did post-match interviews and stuff like that. We had great times with the boys over there, Mage and Chris and all, and Tom as well. I was in the cup with Tom. We were watching the Champions League in 2018. Wasn't it the one in Kiev where Mo got done by Sergio Ramos and ended up having to be subbed off with the shoulder? Tom off Redman TV. I'm not sure if he's still there or not. He was in the stand with us in the cop and stuff like that. We had a great night and stuff like that, even though it was so disappointing. But the crack we had with Tom and stuff like that just made it that bit more easier to palate, as they say. Ric Flair wants another match, please. We're going to be talking about this tomorrow night. There's only so many. You can see above my head there. Where is it? This one here. This one, yeah. I'll come into the camera. See that figure there? That's Ric Flair's last match figure. Rick, I can't keep on buying last match figures. They're too expensive. So stop this nonsense now. He's thinking to jump into the ring. He is he? James is he? James Redmond, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. James is a live wire. It's an absolute live wire. Great to see him doing well on his channel and stuff like that, and back at it full time and all. He's doing great stuff. Butterbean versus Mike Tyson. No. I seen the video there. Did you see that a few months ago? The one where Butterbean was talking into a mic and he was talking about Tyson and Tyson crept up behind him. Really, really good. And then Usyk. Yeah, interesting. Just how they put these together, I don't know. Shout out to the Dynamo Kid. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to Eno. Yeah, as always, he is doing well, my friend. New house and all, doing great things. I laugh my ass off. Yeah, absolutely. You'll never walk alone. Watch that say at Jamie Phillips. He's a Liverpool fan. Yeah, absolutely. I watch Jamie all the time as well. I was on in the chat on Jamie's show today. Actually, he's on about Salah versus Hazard. which was an interesting debate. James is thinking jumping into the ring, and he looks good on the bag on Insta. Yeah, James is a little warrior, isn't he? Little warrior. What weight do you reckon he'd fight at? Because he's slight enough, isn't he? James, he's not a big guy at all, like, you know what I mean? But he's electric when you meet him outside Anfield. He's just one of those guys. He's always switched on. I think he's one of those guys that if you hung around with him enough, he'd probably drain you of your energy, because he's such an energizer bunny, isn't he, James? He's just always on, sharp as a button. You know, I love some of the shows he does as well with expressions, because he gives expressions as good as he gets, and we know how good expressions is. He still hasn't answered Paul Roma's challenge. We may do another challenge Friday. Well, listen, if you're thinking about having another match, be interesting, all right. Boxing, this is pro wrestling. It's a mix of everything, sure. That's what we do here. Butterbean is in amazing shape. DDP yoga. Yeah, DDP yoga. Mars, you like the advertisements within the ads that we don't get. NXT looks to be going places once again. Yeah, I think they've come out of the kind of the Nickelodeon Carnival kind of phase and stuff like that now, and they're producing a really, really good product. Really, really good product. So yeah, absolutely. And long may it continue. We were all huge fans of NXT back in the day, those takeovers and stuff like that, and all the Undisputed Era was there, and DIY, Gargano, Ciampa, Aleister Black, all these guys. It was fantastic. Bart Gunn jawbreaker. Jawbreaker. Oh God, absolutely. Well, listen, folks, that's it. That's our review of Fastlane. Certainly didn't disappoint, but didn't actually blow the roof off the place either. So it was interesting enough. So we'll roll on to the next one, as they say. But again, join us tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. Myself and Dazzler Beyond. It won't be Thursday Tier Talk. We'll be doing Pro Wrestling Weekly. We'll be talking about a whole bunch of stuff, and if there's anything you want us to talk about as well, just throw it into the chat. We'll adapt and move with whatever way you want the show to go and stuff like that. That's the fun of these wrestling ones. I think the big stars going to NXT is the right thing to do to get the casual eyes on it. Yeah, I think it works, and that's what myself and Darren were actually discussing this morning as well. But we think what we said is we don't want them to saturate it too much. Now, obviously, last night was a different situation. They absolutely pumped it in there. But if you drop down maybe one or two, but if you're putting them in there for the right reason with a bit of purpose and stuff like that, it works really, really well. If you're just dropping them in there for the sake of it, it doesn't really work well. So, yeah, I think they have to think more kind of how they want to do it and who goes down and stuff like that. You know, you want them to go down there with a reason to go down there, you know, so people buy into it and stuff, that it's not just some guy showing up or girl, you know. I'll have the Jameson ready for the burial of Balor. Jesus. Good Lord. Royal Rumble tickets on sale Friday morning. Yeah, not this Friday, next Friday. Yeah, I have to get a few actually, because I think myself and the lads are going to be hitting the Royal Rumble at the end of January in Tampa. A nice little week in the sun in Florida is what the body's calling for. It's sports entertainment. It is indeed. But until next time, folks, hit the subscribe button, smash that like, obviously share the content, and hit the bell notification button so you're notified when we go live. We will be back with you, as I said, tomorrow at 9 o'clock. It'll be a fun show, so make sure you tune in and enjoy it. Keep safe until then, as always. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Cheers.